On July 17th, 2011, it was the last night that CM Punk's contract would be in contention with World Wrestling Entertainment, because as of July 18th, his contract would expire, in which he would not be renewing his contract. So July 17th, he goes on to Money in the Bank to face John Cena for the WWE Championship in his final match, as he claimed he was going to leave the WWE as the WWE Champion. What does Vince McMahon say? He tells John Cena that if John Cena loses that match, if CM Punk leaves the company with the title, he was publicly going to tell John Cena, "You're fired." What happened? More on that in a minute. First of all, welcome to John's Wrestling Views. I'm your host, John. Thanks for tuning in. WWE's just been so great to watch lately. I've been impressed. Every Monday I turn on my TV and they seem to end Raw with something that leaves the fans talking, and this week did no differently. CM Punk versus John Cena this last Sunday at Money in the Bank. Phenomenal matchup. Easily the best match of the night, in which saw John Cena putting on the STF in the end of the match, where CM Punk wasn't really necessarily around the ropes, but he was fighting, tapping out. Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis come out, and Vince McMahon was about to do a Montreal screw job all over again there in Chicago. But John Cena stops the hold, comes down and clotheslines John Laurinaitis before he has a chance to talk to the timekeeper. He says, "McMahon, you are not going to do this. You are not going to screw Punk the same way you screwed Brett. I want actual finish, a fair finish to what's a great match." John Cena goes back in the ring. CM Punk hits him with the go to sleep, gets the 3 count. CM Punk's a new WWE Champion, much to the dismay of Vince McMahon. So Vince McMahon runs over to the announce table, steals a headset and says, "Get me Del Rio, get me Del Rio." Alberto Del Rio just won Money in the Bank earlier that night for Raw. McMahon wanted him to cash in right away. He did not want CM Punk leaving with the WWE Championship, which, I mean, it makes sense, right? Del Rio comes out. Before even having a chance to cash in, CM Punk kicks him in the head, takes the title, runs up the crowd in Chicago, his hometown, may I add. CM Punk leaves WWE as WWE Champion. Well, what's next? Vince McMahon made a promise. He told John Cena if John Cena were to not beat CM Punk at Money in the Bank, if CM Punk were to leave Chicago as WWE Champion, John Cena would be fired. So that brings us to Monday on Raw, with Michael Cole reading tweets from a bunch of people throughout the show. John Cena being the first one, as John Cena was prepared to be fired, as McMahon was going to take his legal action at the end of the show. Read a tweet from The Rock really wanting his match with John Cena at WrestleMania 28. How can they do that if John Cena's fired? Joey Styles, so on and so forth. There's definitely a good list of names there. But, into the show comes, they were setting up, it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus The Miz for the WWE Championship to crown a new WWE Champion. McMahon interrupts it, says there's more important business than just the individuals in the match. Calls John Cena out, and just when it looked, they had a few minutes of words. John Cena stated his case, McMahon stated his case, and just when it looked like McMahon was about to say those infamous words of "you're fired," Triple H's music plays, the son-in-law of Vince McMahon, and Triple H comes out. First time since the night after WrestleMania anyone's seen Triple H in the WWE, in the ring setting especially. Triple H comes out, says, "Sorry, I would have been here sooner, but I was in a board of directors meeting." McMahon has no idea what he's talking about. And then he goes on to explain his fight situation and everything else. Says that the board has come on to terms that McMahon needs to be relieved from his duties as chairman of the board. And then he goes on to say, and this was a decision that the family supported and agreed with, and that Triple H was going to be taking over the duties as chairman of the board for World Wrestling Entertainment. And McMahon, the fans I don't think bought it at first. They were doing that na 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 hey 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 goodbye chant, as they, as any storyline would see. But McMahon started crying, and those were real tears. I could tell. Fans weren't singing anymore. Those songs turned into "Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince." McMahon was left alone in the middle of the ring after Triple H said one more thing: "I love you, Pops." As he was there to acknowledge the fans' chant, John Cena not fired. McMahon retired, is what it looks like here. I'm anxious to tune into Raw this coming Monday to see if there's anything more to it. And who knows, honestly, who knows if CM Punk's really gone. I have a sneaky feeling he's not. And I tell you what, I don't know what WWE's plans are, I have no idea. I tell you one thing though, I would love to see CM Punk versus Triple H. That's just me, I think that would make a great pay-per-view match. If they can drag it out to next year's WrestleMania, that make it an even better WrestleMania. You already have John Cena and The Rock. But how is WWE, how's the complexion of World Wrestling Entertainment now gonna change now that Triple H is the one in charge and not Mr. McMahon, not Vince McMahon? It's now Paul Levesque. Who knows? I mean, I'm really anxious to tune in, like I said. And then, of course, this Monday is supposed to be The Miz taking on Rey Mysterio for the WWE Championship. Everywhere I've seen says that SummerSlam's, the idea anyway, is to be headlined by John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio for the title. Could that mean Del Rio cashes in Money in the Bank before SummerSlam and then set up for a John Cena Del Rio feud? I guess it's hard to tell, but we'll just have to keep tuning in and seeing. Right now, though, WWE's doing a great job of making the viewers wanting to tune in, and I wouldn't suggest stopping now, at least not the next few weeks, because there's some pretty phenomenal stuff going on with the company. You turn on to TNA, and you see Sting running around every week now, kind of portraying himself as a Joker, as an evil clown, wanting that the TNA World Championship back from Mr. Anderson, who, by the way, is now the newest member of Immortal. Sting won the title back on Thursday. What's new there? Honestly, it's not a terrible storyline, but it makes me, as a viewer, make it hard to want to tune into TNA every week, because I'm more thinking about what's going to happen next on Raw. Even SmackDown, for that matter. It's the same company. And one thing I'm anxious to see, Daniel Bryan wins Money in the Bank on Sunday. I don't really know if anyone was expecting that. I know I surely wasn't. But now I'm really anxious to see what would happen there. Christian wins the world title via disqualification. So they're clearly wanting more of an Orton-Christian rivalry. At the same time, with Christian the champion, I think if they put Christian and Daniel Bryan in a rivalry, great rivalry right there. They have the ability to put on phenomenal matches against each other. We'll just have to see what happens. But until then, thanks for tuning in. I'm John. Have a good one.